So, so I wanted to come on here and talk about, you know, John Campea and his wife Ann Campea's, experience during the honeymoon or during their anniversary trip to Disneyland. And, I get, I kind of understand and get where John's coming from. You spend so much money to just have a one night or one night, 2 night stay, and then the next thing you know, the reason that you're there, you're spending that much money is, the reason, like I said, that you're there is not available. Basically, it's not possible of happening, and you feel like you've been, gypped, you've been ripped off, you've been tricked, if you will. And all the money you spent getting, getting to make this happen, putting down, if you will, has now been for naught. And all you want is your money back, to basically be like some kind of compensation for not being able to, do what you were planning, to go out and, enjoy yourself the way you wanted. So I totally get where, John is coming from that manner. And I also get that, when you book something in a virtual queue, especially with everything that's been going on, that you shouldn't have to, all of a sudden, when you're told to, you log in, at this time to virtually book your time, your position in line for a ride of any kind, new or not, that you shouldn't have to be told almost immediately, oh yeah, we're all booked up. It just, from a business standpoint, doesn't make any sense as to why you would do that, or as to why that would happen. And, so I get, again, where, I get where, where they're coming from with that, I get where they're coming from because, well, I get where he's coming from, I should say, because, you spend all this money and you're hoping, hey, I'm going to be good, I'm going to be able to do this, I'm going to be able to do that, and then you find out you can't because basically, what you plan to do, like I said, is not optional to you. So I understand exactly where he's coming from all that. But my perspective on it, ladies and gentlemen, my perspective is this. I think honestly what happened is, again, first of all, John and Ann have all the right to be angry, at Disneyland right now, at Disney themselves, for not, being organized when this kind of stuff happens. So I get where their anger is coming from. It's justified. But I also think maybe it's something on Disney's end. And what it is on Disney's end isn't the fact that, oh, well, we're not going to refund you your money because, hey, you made the decision to come here knowing or should have known the potential of, what was going to happen. So, I get their anger at the fact that they couldn't get a refund for not being able to do what they want to do. So I get their anger there. But I also get the fact that, but I can almost not get the fact, but I can almost guess, in my opinion that is, that what happened was Disney didn't tell folks exactly what the real reasoning behind all this, what I'm trying to get at, and I'm doing this in public as you can tell, I think what happened is they didn't tell the visitors there that when you when you attempt to book your position for, let's say, the Resistance ride or the Spider-Man ride on the Avengers campus, that what you need to do is wake up at 7 a.m. In the morning and book it, but you needed to book it for the next day. That's why it would say it's all booked up. I think that's what happened. Now again, Anne and John, they have a right to be, frustrated. They have a right to, be upset at the fact that they spent so much money, $1,500 from what John said, to go to Disneyland for their anniversary, stay at the California Grand Hotel, go on the Resistance ride, go on the Spider-Man ride, only to be basically told, that ain't gonna happen. So, only to be told, like I said, that, they can't get on the rides because they're all booked up. And I think, in my opinion, what happened, like I said, is I think Disney on their end didn't fully explain, saying that because of what's going on, it's starting to kind of die down now, if not be completely done with when it comes to COVID, that you needed to book your queue the day before. Like get up at 7 in the morning, book it for the day before, or book it for the day after. So I think that's what happened. I think honestly, Anne and John, again, they have a right to be angry. You spent $1,500 to make this happen. You can't get on the rides you want to get on. Honestly, Disney, has no one to blame but themselves for that happening. But I also think Disney needed to better explain how to, do the virtual, hub. And maybe what I'm thinking, again, what occurred is John and Anne tried to book for that day, but the reason it was booked up is because they were booked up the day prior, is what I'm thinking. Like I said, they were booked up from the day prior, so that's what I'm thinking happened. Like they tried to book for that day, but it was already booked the day prior at 7 a.m. and around noon. 7 a.m. for the Resistance, noon for the Spider-Man ride and all that. That's what I think happened. And, instead of better explaining that, hey, that's what you need to do potentially, or possibly, Anne and John felt like they got scammed. They got cheated. So, yeah, they're justified in their anger and everything. Don't get me wrong. But like I said in a previous video, I do believe, that they will be going back down the line. You can't stay away from something like Disneyland forever. You're always going to go back, and eventually down the line they will. But I think right now, the reason they're going to stay away is they're going to wait to see if Disney gets their act together and fixes this issue, because, like John said, they're not the only customers or visitors that went through this. So I think honestly, like I said, they're justified in their anger. But I also think in a way that, Anne, like I said, I think, like I said, I agree. Anne and John are justified in their anger. But I also think that, Disney, they have no one but themselves to blame, because they didn't fully in detail explain, how the virtual queue worked. And now that things are back to normal most of the way, hopefully they fix that and this won't happen again for anybody. And people can get on the Resistance, they can get on the Spider-Man ride and enjoy themselves. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But to me, I think it's, I think it's just something to where it was a miscommunication. John and Ann didn't really, kind of probably understand how it worked. Disney didn't do a good job explaining how it worked. And I think, in all honesty, it's all about booking the day before at those times instead of the day that you book them. So that's what I think happened. But yeah, like I said, John and Ann, they have a right to their anger, the right to the frustration. And Disney should have compensated them. I do agree with that. They should have compensated them for spending $1,500 the way they did for this trip, for their anniversary, and not being able to enjoy themselves the way they were planning because Disney fully didn't explain how things work to them or anybody else. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. How do you feel about it? What would your reaction be if you went through something like this? Let me know in the live chat and during the premiere, and I will talk to y'all later.